Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. This is a great time to get clarity for the week. We're hoping that what we bring to you today is something that's going to give you an edge in your system. I see Rod again, frequent flyer with us, and Devante. I keep seeing your name pop up all over our world, so
Yeah.
love seeing
Good to meet you,
users taking
Devante.
action.
Hey, good morning. Good to meet you guys as well. Thank you.
All right. So these are action sections again. Action sessions. Having a bit of trouble here. Need an extra swig of coffee. Action sessions. Get your notepad. Take one nugget minimum. That's my goal for you guys today. One nugget at least that's going to give you a little edge. We're trying to give you tips on how to actually use the system more effectively. We've seen a great opportunity to train users at a higher level, not just kind of like floaty marketing knowledge, but like, how do I use the dang system? That's the goal of these calls. And as a reminder, they are all going up on YouTube. So I'll come back to that later. Let's just bring up YouTube here to showcase, because some people watching replay or yourselves, Devante, Rod, you're going to want to find what are the problems that are holding you back in your business. And we've got more thematic sessions. That's our goal, is to kind of focus on hopefully one thing. We have a few rabbit trails that we go down. We had a great AI rabbit trail on Friday, and we decided, let's do a deep dive on AI. I think that's going to be on Friday. Is that what we talked about, Alex?
Yep. Geeking out on AI on Friday. It's going to be fun.
Geeking out on AI, but ads crash course, holiday campaign, especially right now, December 9th. If you are watching this, and I'm speaking especially to replay people, if you're watching this before the holidays and you have not launched a holiday campaign, I would say pause this video, go watch that one, do your homework, and then come back, because there's just a great window of time right now to get some boost in client retention, make connections. So we did quick win strategies, was just like, hey, I'm new to the system. That was the last session, December 6th. Hey, I'm new to the session. Man, Alex, I'm having trouble with words. Why don't you take over today?
So as Will was saying, last week it was like, okay, I'm in, Agent CRM. What do I do? My favorite one so far, I'll just be real with you, Will. My favorite one that you did so far was, I wasn't able to be on the call with you, but it was the day in the life of a CRM user. Really breaking down how does Agent CRM fit into my day? What am I supposed to do? Or how can I best utilize the CRM in my day as an insurance agent looking to grow my business and take it to the next level? How does the CRM fit? And I thought you did a fantastic job. And I think the view count represents that. The organic growth of that video, we've just seen it. I think people are sharing that and dropping some comments on there, because that one is really doing well. So today we're going to be diving in, and sorry, my voice is cracking. I don't know if you can hear that, but we've had my wife and I, we celebrated her book launch last night. So we were out late eating cookies. It's freezing cold out here in New York City, and my body is not happy with me. And so I got a little congestion. My voice is cracking a little, but today we're going to be diving
tag
in.
Team. We'll tag back and forth. I'm tapping out like a wrestling match here.
Yeah, we're both struggling a little bit, but that's okay. We are here and excited to do this training. So today we're going to cover one of the most common things that we get asked when we ask folks who join the live training, what is it you want to learn? A lot of them ask us for leads integration. Like, how do I take the leads that I'm getting from my lead vendors and the ones that I'm generating on my own, and how do I get them into Agent CRM? So today we're going to cover importing a CSV that you get from a lead vendor and setting it up so that those leads are tagged appropriately, and you get some follow-up going on all those leads. And then I'll kind of walk through a brief recap of how the branding bundles work to get those leads on your calendar. Before we dive into that, I do want to make a quick little asterisk about leads integration. Number one, many lead vendors that we recommend, and we have those recommendations under extras and then get leads. So Kaboom and Lead Heroes. they actually import leads directly into Agent CRM without you having to upload a CSV. And so that gives you this, like, as soon as the lead is generated, Kaboom will drop that lead inside of your Agent CRM account, and then you can instantly start following up with that lead. So
Yeah.
the CSV file isn't applicable to Kaboom and Lead Heroes, but there's a lot of lead vendors that still deliver leads on a spreadsheet. And so we want to talk about that because you guys are getting these leads and you're like, okay, now what do I do? Right. And so
Yeah.
the other method that some lead vendors encourage you to use, which we are here to support, is they will send the data of their new lead that comes in, and they'll encourage you to set up a Zap in Zapier so that then you can add that your lead directly into Agent CRM. Again, that's more of an instantaneous response, which is great. We're not going to cover that today, but if you need help with that, please reach out to my team. We can help you on one of our expert hours where it's just you and one of my team members getting that Zap set up, testing it, and making sure it's working properly. So just wanted to note that before we do the CSV.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna not get too technical on this call, but I'll just throw out a few terms just so that you're aware. There are many ways to get contacts into a system. There's Zapier, like Alex mentioned, there's webhooks, there's API, and then there's high-level private integrations, which is the new way. The point is that some of it does get a little bit more technical, and what you should be asking your lead partners is, do you have experience getting leads into a high-level platform? Because what we've seen in the past, unless you're going to follow the tutorial and you're going to see today, how do I import contacts? But that itself takes time. And it also, the benefits of a strong, either a live lead campaign, we can help with Marketing Plus, or a lead partner is that leads are generated, they come in and they get nurtured right away. And if you're going to follow the steps that we show, this is like bare minimum. You need to know how to import a CSV list. But the challenge with importing CSV lists is that those leads are already starting to age. The longer they're sitting on your list without getting into the system, I always use the example of driving a new car off a car lot. My dad would always tell me the car loses half its value, the moment you drive off the lot. I don't know if it was half or 25%, but the value of a lead, the potential to make a sale, the quality, the intensity, the desire to take action is dropping. So an immediate connection is preferable. And we have had partners, lead partners before, not our partners. You guys have had people you've said, hey, can you connect the leads to? And it's been this forever and a day dance around like, hey, how do we do this? Like, can you help us get on another call? Not you guys, the lead partners have tried to get in. And so lead partners who have actually done their homework and who know how to get leads into a high level based platform, that's what we're on. Those are the people you want to trust because they're going to streamline your system. And again, Kaboom and Lead Heroes, they know what they're doing here. So that's my last spiel. But I really want to hammer in the importance of speed to lead.
Yes.
So
yes, definitely. Yeah. Speed to lead is what it's all about. So we're going to walk through. So we have a dummy sheet of CSV leads. And the purpose of this is, one, so that YouTube doesn't yell at us when we upload content. And also, two, just so you know, we just had ChatGPT come up with a whole bunch of fake names and numbers for the purpose of showing you what it would look like when we upload a CSV. So there's a couple things that are going to be very common when you upload a lead list like this. Number one, you're probably not going to have a full data set for every single lead. So you're going to see in here, we've planned for that. We have some leads in here that do not have a full data set, and we'll show you how high level handles that. The second thing that I want to point out is many times a lead vendor will put data on the sheet that you don't have a field for in your CRM. Like there was one that we were working with before, and they actually put in they put in their favorite color. They had the lead enter in their favorite color. And the whole goal was they wanted the lead to enter that in so that they knew it wasn't a dummy lead. That wasn't just a bot. It was somebody that entered in
Like
the
hobby is
information.
another common one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, or like hobby. So what we did here is we put in the policy purchased. And so that's a data set that is not by default in Agent CRM. So we're going to actually walk through setting up a custom field and showing you how to do that and then attaching the lead value to that. One of the other things that we did is we put in a lead source. And the reason we put in a lead source is two reasons. One, we wanted this video to demonstrate how to import a CSV of leads with the goal of showing you how to handle lead vendors. But the other thing, this video is going to do double duty because we're going to show you how to import a CSV where you also get to set the lead source. So it's kind of like this would be a lead list from an old database or another CRM, and now you're moving it over to us. So this demo video is going to, handle a couple different use cases for us. So that's why that data is there. Will, I'll let you take it from here. And as far as like setting up the custom field and doing the import.
Definitely. And yeah, just use your imagination for a second. There's a couple extra fields that you have on your list that you need, like favorite color or policy purchased or state. No, state would be one we already have. But one of the things we've seen in the past, we had one client that they're like, where's all my data? They had over 150 data points. And it took our team forever. That was ridiculous. That's not going to be the case for most people. But the system, we don't know all the fields. So if you import this list, we need to have a home where that data is going to live in the contact profile. I will say, just as a little asterisk here, for new users, and if you're watching too, like we can help with this. If you send us the contact list, we will upload, I think even email 2, the very second email that you get as a new user. We're like, yo, if you're having trouble, send us your contact list. Because we realize that part of getting value for the system, if you don't have contacts in there, you can't really do too much, let's be honest. So let's take this list here, dummy clients, and we'll go back to the system. So now I'm in contact section. There's lots of little buttons here, but the up or down, import or export, that's what we're looking at today. So the first thing that we need to do is actually I'm going to backtrack. We're going to go to settings because we need to make sure under settings, custom fields, that we actually have a place for each field. So I'm just going to see first name, last name. That's obvious. Email, phone. Yeah, that's great. But policy purchased and lead source, I'm a little bit questionable if those exist. So let's just say here, policy purchase, custom fields. We're going to search policy. Nope, we don't have it. So we're going to click add field. And especially when you are importing, it needs to be a text field. You might want to experiment. There might have been some updates for like drop downs. But in most cases, if you are importing data, a single line will be the one that you create. Maybe in the future, we'll do like a full custom fields deep dive. There are some really neat things you can do, but let's just create single field, policy purchased. And we're going to put it in a folder in contacts. So if I'm looking at Jane Doe on the left-hand side, I'll go back there in a moment, but you can see folders. And we're going to say, where do we want it to live? Let's put it in client document folder. Save. So you can see bottom right field added successfully. Let's go back here. Lead source. We're going to go lead source or source. Sometimes you just don't want to create duplicates. Contact source, would that be a better place? Or should I just create a new one?
Yeah. I like contact source is good. I think that's, yeah.
So the point is create new fields if you have to. If there is a close enough field, don't create junk in your account. We've done we've done this gig for 4 or 5 years now, and we have about 600 contact fields, and we don't even know which ones are active. So we've been doing some cleanup. But if you guys are creating things, this is a little tip, like clean as you go, keep it neat and orderly. So I checked, and I'm not going to create a contact field. But again, you saw the process, single line, decide where it's going to live and name it. So let's go back here, contacts. And I'll go into a contact just to show you again. Left-hand column here. These are called custom fields. And they're loading here. You can see, where do we put it? Client document folder, policy purchase. So I've created it and I've plugged it into that folder. Now I know, and I can move it around. Like I can say, actually, I want it front and center. I want it at the very top in the main contact section. Whatever your preference, you can reorganize or move those around. But let's go back, smart lists. We are now ready. We are confident that we have a custom field for everyone. I created one new one. We're going to click import contacts. Upload a file. We're going to find that file here, dummy client data. You can see it's green. That is a good sign. Click on next. Mapping. What we're doing here, the system is going to read the sheet and it's going to guess. It's going to be like, I think this is a first name. Can you confirm that for me? So these are a couple names, John and Jane. Yeah, that's a first name. If it's not, you're going to be like, no, dummy, that's a last name. And then you're going to change it. But Lee and Clark, yeah, that looks good. Email address, these are dummy emails and it's not a proper domain. So I'm surprised it didn't catch that, but that's easy enough. You just type in email, your email, phone, it got it correctly. Now this is neat. Again, it's relatively smart. Like it will grab things, but you can see policy purchased and it thinks that these are policies purchased, and it did correctly assume that. But lead source, it did not guess. And remember, I didn't create a field called lead source. And I remember that it's actually contact source. So I'm just going to go down for source. Yeah. So sometimes this is another tip. Sometimes the sheet or the format, your partner that's giving you leads, they call the field one thing, and you might want to translate in your mind, what are you referring to it in your system as? It's like going and ordering a cappuccino. For any coffee snobs, a cappuccino is 3 different things depending on what cafe you go to. So you might have to like, who am I ordering from and what do they mean by? But in most cases, the system will guess it. The system's going to plug it in. So I've got everything good. I've only got a few, but you get the point. You would keep doing it per field, map it to where is the data going to live, and click next. So import name. This is more like, hey, keep records, keep internal notes. I'm just going to say test import. But maybe you say, hey, this lead list is from my upline. This lead list is from this lead vendor. It's just an internal thing. Now I can click advanced. I don't think there's anything important that I really want to show you guys on this, to be honest. I'm not going to create a list because I want to show you another way that I'm going to do this. But what we're going to do here is add tags. We're going to call these, what should we call these, Alex?
For now, let's add the tag lead import.
Okay. So lead import. And yes, you can add them directly to a new campaign. I like to kind of just look at them for a second and make sure they're organized neatly. Some of you might be importing a mixed list. Hopefully it's just one purpose. If you know, like, hey, this is a lead list for IUL leads, you can add them directly to a campaign. Check it out. Just toggle it on and say IUL. If they're fresh, new lead campaign is what you're going to do. That's going to be like,
they want
hey,
to add them in? Yeah, well, I'm sorry to cut you off, Will. Wouldn't they want to add them into the IUL insurance and then from a lead vendor so that it's tagged that way? Because there was the 1.0.
Yes, no, that's correct. That's correct. I'm sorry, Alex, you are straight.
Yeah.
It's
I just
what,
wanted to make sure I was like, I think that's what we want to do here, but I don't
no,
know.
you're right.
Yeah.
So 1.0, IUL lead from Facebook lead form or lead vendor. And we'll actually go into that in a second. I'll show you why I hesitated in responding, but this, if you are like, yo, these leads are fresh, these leads want IULs, add them to the 1.0 campaign. And I'm not going to do that for this, but I'll show you what happens there. So add to the campaign, add the tag. Let's just turn off the workflow for a second. You're going to check, yep, they all want to hear from me. Tags lead import. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. But the main thing is tagging lists on import is going to be so helpful. Some of you have clients, you have client spreadsheet lists. You would tag them clients because you want to keep things clean and organized so that you don't cross wires, sending your clients a new lead campaign by mistake. So I'm going to hit submit. And let's see, files being processed. If you want to, you can check the progress. I've got things auto blurred. I actually had a video taken down last week because I forgot to turn this on and I didn't go through and blur the fake contacts. So now I have to go and re-upload. But look, there we go. I mean, you could check progress, but it happens real quick here. And you can see December 9th. So here's all my lists. I've got 52. From the list, there was probably less than that. But hot tip here, if you guys have not tagged and you're like, whoops, I forgot to tag. If you toggle by created, they're all going to be grouped together anyways. So you're going to see, hey, these people, it looks like they came in on the same batch. But tags lead import, awesome, awesome, awesome. So I've got some contacts in my system now. The data is in the right place. Let's click on one of these guys here. And I'm going to turn off the blur for a second. Going down, client document folder, final expense. You can see Sophia Smith, policy purchased, final expense, and that will align with the CSV. Let's turn this back on before I forget. So the next thing that we're going to want to do in terms of optimizing our contacts is probably smart list creation. Can you guys type in the chat, yes, I'm using smart lists, or no, I'm not using smart lists? This is a feature that is, Alex is like, yes, I am. You bet we are. No, I'm not using smart lists. Awesome. I'm going to guess, I don't know if this is accurate, wild number, 50% of our users might be using it. That could be so wrong, but it's just such an undervalued feature. Yes, but mine needs to be cleaned up. Yeah, 100%. They're kind of pointless if they're not clean, and we're doing our own deep dive behind the scenes. So what I'm going to do here, you can see right now, all 52 records, all. That's every single contact that I have. Maybe it's clients, maybe it's leads, but maybe it's even agents. Like I'm trying to recruit. I've got such a mix of contacts. It's not helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to more filters on the right. And then I'm going to search. You can search by so many things: birth date, city. I'm trying to think of the most practical ones, but you get the point even as I'm zooming past, like, whoa, you can do a lot. So if you want to learn and tweak it out, join our live Q&A, there's some cool things. But most cases, I'm going to assume that tags are going to be your best friend. Remember, we added the tag, so most used tag. Let's check that out. Tag is, and then we're going to do lead. You can see their IUL lead kaboom as one lead import. Okay, so tag is lead import, apply. And you can also add extra things like tag is lead import and tag is IUL. And then you could have like a mini list just for IUL leads. But
Could
let's
we
just
also
save.
do a tag is lead import and then a policy is final expense? So that way we can
Oh, that's a great
just
example.
add those to the new
Mhm.
like final expense, new lead workflow.
Okay, so tag is, so we did the tag, but now we're going to do policy. And this draws from custom fields as well.
Mhm.
So you can see policy purchase popped up. Policy purchased is final expense. Now, if you are importing, one thing that you might come across is something like FEX lead. Like it might not all say final expense and the spelling is exact. So you could just do is apply it, or it is this. Like you might want to add a few extra things just in case, but highlighting the importance of clean data here. Tag is lead import and policy purchased is final expense. Save list, and we're going to call that final expense leads. Save. Okay, so I might not even have known how many of that list were final expense leads, but now I know exactly 14 people on that list were final expense policy people. So we could go through the process of creating as many as we're looking for. So let's just change this out. And you see it still remembers the last filters. What was another one that we had? Life.
I think it was term.
Oh yeah, term is another one. Okay, so let's
That
do
was just
term.
Yeah, that was the dummy data that I used. I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody would actually use that. Oh, there we go. We got 17 people.
Yeah, so save as new. Otherwise, you're going to overwrite the last one. So we're going to go term leads. Save. Okay, and how many do we have? We've got 17. So now I've got like a little bit of segmentation, and I can either do specific campaigns, I can add these people to a power dialer, but now I've got my contacts. The main goal is contacts in the system now. Because if I know these are term leads, I can start calling them right now. Like I can click on the contact and just do a dial to them and say, hey, this is Will here. I know you were interested in term insurance. I wanted to see, are there questions that I can assist with? Is that still something that you need help with? Blah, blah, blah. Use your script here. But the first step is importing them. And then second step is organizing them. Third step would be actually running some sort of campaign. I do want to go to that 1.0, but is there something else you want to cover here? Also, feel free, friends, to ask in the chat any questions and we'll plug that in.
One of the most common things that you'll encounter if you're watching this and you have leads from another CRM, I want to make a quick note to you guys that are listening. When you import your leads, you'll want to make sure that you import them as separate lists that identify who's a lead and who's a current client, or you'll want to make sure that there's a way in your data to identify who's a current client and then who's a lead. Because what we want to do inside of Agent CRM, once you import your database here, is we want to help you segment so that we know, okay, this is a client and we're going to ask them for referrals now, or this is a lead and we're going to put them in nurturing. So if you're importing leads, then make sure that you've got them separate. If you're using leads from a lead vendor, then you should all be going to the same place, right? Like, you saw the tag there for IUL Kaboom leads. Those IUL Kaboom leads are always going to be dropped into the IUL from a lead vendor workflow so that it's tagged appropriately and then instantly moved over to the IUL new lead with the goal of getting them on the phone. So that's just one quick note. If you're watching this video and you're like, I want to import my leads from another CRM, separate the data, current clients and new leads.
Yeah, and let's add one more tip here because we are talking a lot about Kaboom. They have a specific list of tags, and I'm going to show you that list. But you might have your own data points, and each vendor might have different, like Lead Heroes and Kaboom don't use the same tags. I wish there was a universal standard for lead vendors for tags inside of a high-level platform. There's not. Maybe we'll start a revolution, Alex. But let's say term leads. I'm going to change this from term. So let's see here. Term policy purchased is, did we have IUL on that? No, we didn't, did we? So let's just say this is term. Tag is lead import and policy purchase is term, or tag is, and then let's just say term kaboom. Now that might not be their thing, but if that was their tag, you might, it's not going to align, but let's just do IUL leads. So the point is you might have to have multiple filters added just so that you get all the accurate people in this smart list. And you're going to know from your vendor, they're going to hopefully communicate clearly to you what they're using in terms of tags or in terms of key fields that are going to help you clean up your list. But let's just go here. Where is it? Yeah, so this is actually the tag list from Kaboom Leads. If some of you are Kaboom partners, you can screenshot this. Reach out to them for sure. Joey's a great guy on their team who knows what's up. But we want to just make sure you know from your lead partner what is going to help you optimize your leads by using the right data points. So when Kaboom, as an example here, pushes automatically a lead into your account, that lead will come with a tag. Just like we automatically added the tag on import, they're going to do a similar process so that you can do some cool things with the auto tag adding. So let's we're going to illustrate that in a second here. I'm just making sure. Yeah. So let's go back to my system and we're going to go into automations. And we're going to go into IULs. That's we don't even have IUL leads in that list. Let's see. Whatever. All right. So IUL 1.0. And for those of you who are not aware, Agent CRM, a full suite of business automations from the entry point all the way to renewal, which is the last step in these campaigns. But 1.0, whatever product you're using in the branding bundles, 1.0 is the entry point. And we've got a few main ones. 1.0, lead from Facebook lead form or lead vendor. If there is an asterisk, it needs to be modified. We'll show you that quickly. Facebook form submitted. This is one of the main changes. If you are running a live ad, you must designate which ad should be connected. The problem is we have this on draft by default, so you don't mess it up. I think that's the case. But if you have multiple campaigns, by default, the trigger, any Facebook form will trigger this campaign. So you don't want that. But let's see here, add new trigger, contact, I'll do the tag first. Tag, you can add a tag to trigger the campaign. So some of you want to manually add people here to clean up your list. Tag added is, IUL lead Kaboom. But I'm pretty sure, Alex, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Probably if you have a lead partner, you're going to do contact created. Contact created has tag IUL. Yeah. That's probably going to be the right process there. Because you don't, when a contact is created, that's every contact. If I upload clients, boom, all my clients get new lead campaign trigger automations. We don't want that. So what we want to do is add a trigger, contact created, has tag, and then find your corresponding lead partner tag. That way, when your lead automatically imports, something starts to happen. It's great to have it directly integrated, but if nothing's being triggered, then the lead's just aging as it would in a contact list. So add the trigger. Some of you, your homework as you're watching, you're like, my lead partner hasn't told me the tag list. Go ask them about that. if they're not familiar with that, you can set up a few other things, but preferably they would know what they're doing with a high-level platform, and preferably they would automatically add a tag to your account so you can start to really dial in the campaigns. So let's save this campaign, and I'm going to name it IUL Kaboom, please. I like naming it because then I can see that trigger. Oh yeah, there's the Kaboom connection. Assign to Will. This is what the first step's going to happen. Now, Alex, the one reason I hesitated on the 1.0, because I remembered, oh yeah, 1.0, it does do a new lead notification.
Yeah.
So it's going to blast me like, oh, you got a bunch of new leads. Now, I know I got leads. I was the one who put them in. If you upload them by contact. I'm tempted to get a little more nerdy. There are some things you could do. What I'm going to say is drop into the live Q&A if you want to customize this. But there are some things you can do where you can actually bypass depending on the trigger. Like if they came in from the tag being added, then I can actually filter by that trigger and then jump the contact past those steps. So for now, I'll say just drop in on the live Q&A to see about if else actions bypassing. Like so tempted to get nerdy here, but depending on the call, we do love geeking out, but our goal is for people to use the system, not necessarily to become experts, although that would be my dream. So lead comes in, new lead notification. The main goal of adding them here, honestly, is just the assign to user. And the best use case of this campaign is when they come from a live ad directly. So contact uploads like we did together, that may not be necessarily the best way. But the goal of this is an automatic process for lead vendors to plug in and for your own live leads to come in. But once they go through, they're assigned, we get a little notifications, we tag them just to further categorize them with our own tags, and then we add them to the new lead campaign. So let's go through that together briefly. We did a whole session on that, so I'm not going to dive deeply into it, but 2.0 new lead campaigns. What this one does is that the lead was imported, we did a little bit of data management, and now they're going to get some messages. Hey, thanks for your interest. Will here. Here's my calendar link. Let's chat. That's the goal of this type of campaign here.
Yeah. This is a really powerful new leads campaign. We have one set up for each of the different products, and it's all included in Agent CRM. So this is a really thorough, well done new leads campaign. Again, we started talking about speed to lead. This hits speed to lead really hard in a bunch of different ways. One, they get a text, they get an email, and it's dropped in to your opportunities, and from your opportunities pipeline, you can manually call them if you want. So it's all about speed to lead here, guys, and we're setting you up for success by doing a lot of the work for you and then setting it up so you can quickly see a visual of where people are at inside of the pipeline. So just wanted to point that out. But it also, to Will's point a few moments ago about importing leads from a lead vendor and then having this come in, you will get a lot of notifications because we do want to notify you every time you get a new lead. But if you do a bulk import, that means you'll be getting bulk notifications. So you'll be getting a lot of those. And then, one thing to keep in mind, if you're a brand new Agent CRM user, then make sure that you're putting them into new leads only if they're a new lead, because if you're brand new to us, then there is a warm up on your phone number. And I don't want that, I think it's 100 texts in the first 24 hours. We don't want to crush your phone number as soon as you get started with us. So there's a couple minor things to just keep in mind as you're importing leads that
we've seen some eager agents.
We've seen users just, because we didn't know to give them a warning. We've seen some users that just sign up and then they blast their
Like
users
10,000
over,
people.
and it just kind of creates a little bit of a mess that it's we can get past it, but they're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? So that's on us. We're doing a better job of explaining what some of these new restrictions are. These restrictions didn't exist until recently, so we're all kind of going with the flow here as carriers change the rules. But I just
Yeah.
wanted to point that out.
No, super helpful. And I'm trying to leave tips that maybe people are unaware of. Now, we have throttled your campaign. You can see here inside of all of the 2.0 campaigns, there is a action drip mode, 125 a day adjustable. Now, this is to help warm up your reputation. And I'm actually going to show you, this is one of the more frustrating areas of marketing. Some of you think that it's us that is stopping you or holding you back from communicating with your clients. There's actually a ton of regulations in the industry, especially since last year. A2P application, Agent CRM, application to person sending is heavily monitored and regulated. So when people get a new account, there are levels called a ramp up. I'm actually going to show that here. Ramp up model. If it is your first day and you're approved for A2P, you can only send 100. And then you get suspended. It feels like getting suspended. It's not like a slap on the wrist. It's like you reached your level and now you're paused until tomorrow. Then you get 250 texts. And you cannot get to the next level until you cap your limit. So you have to get suspended by blowing through your limit. And we put that 125 in there because we knew it would help you to kind of incrementally increase to the next level. But especially new users, you will have some downtime for the first week. And that's just bummer. Get used to it. We cannot do anything about it unless you want to keep your sending low during busy seasons, just so that you don't not text. But this is the thing here. So take a look at that. Level 3 is 500. You can see it kind of, it's not just linear. There is a bit of a scale to that exponential upload. And then depending on your A2P, are you an EIN registered business or sole proprietor? There's more deep dive on A2P we could get into. But the point is you have a sender reputation. So some of you, kind of getting back to the vision of why Agent CRM, you've got 150 people, 200 people on your contact list. You're going to plug them in, and these leads are going to start converting themselves. They're going to start getting text messages. They're going to start getting emails saying, hey, get on a call with Devante. And that way you can focus on showing up to those calls. You can focus on selling. You can focus on income producing activities, while many of the leads will take action on their own. That's not an excuse for not calling. Shout out to Kixie. I got my Kixie shirt on today. They are a multi-line dialer that we love, but outbound calls is never going to be replaced. So if you're thinking like this is a free ride to abundance and prosperity, you got to do some work still. But the ability to optimize your contact list through automations, sending texts, sending emails, getting people onto calendar appointments so that you can sell, that's the goal of the system. But there is a warm-up process, and there are things to know about how do I protect my reputation as a marketer. That's kind of what you are doing as you enter into your business. You're a marketer, you're an insurance agent, maybe you're a graphic designer. Like, you gotta kind of wear a few hats in your role, but learn the things that you need to learn so that you can succeed. And I don't want anyone to be ignorant about the requirements or regulations around this. So we do what we can. Last thing I'll say, we do what we can to try to create tools that protect you from messing up. But we do have some people that will get spam, and then they get mad at us because the carriers blocked their number. I'm like, I'm so sorry. We'll do what we can, but it's not us. You're a bad boy. Back to you, Alex.
Yeah. So, as we wrap this up, couple notes, and then I want to open it up to a Q&A for Devontae and Rod. Couple notes as we look at importing leads. Number one, just to recap, make sure that if you are moving from another CRM, you've separated out clients and prospects into two different lists, or can at least identify them. Second thing, we highly recommend working with a lead vendor that can import the leads instantly to help with speed of lead. That way you're not having to manually import a batch of leads all at the same time. And then the third thing, as one of our users expressed, he's like, I got smart lists, but they aren't clean. Clean data is the foundation for a system that helps you build your business. If Agent CRM doesn't have clean data for you, then it's, pretty darn near impossible for us to know how to use the CRM and all the tools that we built to help you build your business. So it's that may mean doing some cleanup. That may mean just kind of keeping a note as you import data to make sure that you've tagged everyone correctly. So those are a couple of things. If you have any concerns, if you're like, I'm going to do this, so I want to make sure I do it right, jump on our live Q&A call on Zoom. Talk to our team and say, this is what I'm looking to do. Here's my data. Can y'all help me just make sure I do this right the first time? They'll help you. We got your back. We want you to have clean data. We want to help with the import, and we want to have all your data inside of Agent CRM so that you can use the tools that we have so that it works at the highest level. So with that, let's open it up to Devontae and Rod. Devontae, I'll ask you first. Is there any questions that you have for Will and I here related to this or not that we can answer for you while we're on the call together?
I do. I know when Will was going through the smart list, you're able to kind of designate the source that you were pulling the leads from, and then in addition to that, the product purchase. How do you input the filter so it pulls from the correct source? So let's say I'm doing Facebook ads. Would I have to mainly instruct where to designate the Facebook ad from, if that makes sense?
I'm going to be honest. Sometimes there are filters that I'm completely ignorant of because I don't use them. So you may want to, in filters, just search. Like I can do Facebook ID here, but probably the most important thing to do. Let's see. I'm going to go to automations. Alex, you can add to here. But remember, you're always going to add. So 1.0, lead from Facebook lead or lead vendor. Facebook form submitted. We're going to change this to a specific form. So pages, form is. Now, if you're doing a live campaign yourself and you've connected it here, let's assume for a moment that this is the only way leads are coming in. I'm not buying leads. I'm just using this campaign. We can actually add action, update contact field, and then update contact field, filter, field is contact source, and then we're going to say Facebook campaign. So now what happens is we as a standard don't use that field too much, but that would be a way you could tweak the system a little to get it exactly what you want. You might even say Facebook campaign, Jerry's leads. Maybe that's whatever you want. You can start to create points that will update the data for you automatically. Now, I'll do one more thing here. Let's assume I have multiple things that are entering in here. What you could do, let's go back, confirm, automation, create workflow, start from scratch. And we could actually add an additional workflow, like Facebook form submitted, and then we choose it here. I can't add it without having something connected. But then you just create a separate workflow. And the only thing this workflow does is when they come in from that campaign, update the contact field. Does that make sense?
Yeah, pretty much. You answered my question, and I'm understanding that the designation will be attached to the Facebook form ID, and then I can input that form ID into the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, drop in the live Q&A if you want someone to walk you through while you're actually doing it.
Okay.
We could assist with that. Yeah.
Okay. And then how can you ensure that a contact isn't part of like multiple automation workflows?
They likely will be. And there are things like renewal workflows. In most cases, if you're using the bundle, they'll probably be a part of like 4 workflows at least.
Okay.
But what you can do, this is a great question as well. Like you can see, imagine I sold you a policy, Devontae. I would drag you to the sale made column, and then you're going to be in the sale made automation. You're going to be in the referral request automation. You're going to be in the cross-sell automation. And you're probably also going to be in the renewal if that product has a renewal.
Okay.
But what we can do is if we go to contacts, I'm going to filter by activity. Oh, perfect. Okay, so this one here. On every contact profile, we can go down on the left-hand side. We see contact fields. We covered that earlier. These are data points or fields of information. But if I keep scrolling down, I can see tags, but I can also see automations. So automations, workflows, same thing. I can actually see all the live campaigns that this contact is in right here. So if I'm talking to this person, I can see, okay, at some point they're going to get a referral request, and at some point they're going to get a renewal email. And you can actually add people directly to a campaign here. Like if I go add, I can say, you know what? I just talked to Will on the phone right now, and maybe I want to sell him a cross-sell. I don't have that asset in here. But you can add people directly to a relevant action. Or if you're like, shoot, we have this sometimes, you know, a user will call us and they're like, hey, you know, I've already bought that product. And we're like, oh, shoot, we need to clean up our automations. And so we'll go in and you can see here, okay, active campaigns, let's X. Are you sure you want to remove Will from the campaign? Yes, I do. So you can review or add by going to the automation folder in a contact field.
Okay.
Yep. Many of our users are part of like 20 different campaigns, to be honest. Like there's a whole list depending on like a renewal campaign for a subscription or, but yeah.
Yeah. Great question, Devontae. Rod, do you have any questions for us before we wrap up?
No, I'm good. I just need to set up a time. Let me to clean up a system. I'm the one that needs everything cleaned up, and I think I've got 7,900 contacts, whether they're leads it's never bought, current clients. We got mortgage protection leads, trucker leads, and regular life leads. About how much time is that going to take for you guys to do that? I was supposed to have a consult call this morning, but we wasn't able to get together. But that's because, Will, man, this is some awesome stuff. I just can't keep up with you, man.
Yeah. So let's so Will, let's stop the recording and then is it okay if we open up your account, Rod?
Absolutely,
you feel comfortable with that?
I'm fine. I mean, it's a mess, guys. I mean, I've been with you guys for a year, but I've only used it just for texting and working leads. And I wanted to start using it to generate leads. But then once I was on the first call, I realized, wait a minute, I need to clean my system up before I go into that, because I've got a mess.
All right, so I will stop the recording here, but the last thing I will say for those who are watching the replay is join live, because you're going to be able to get extra assistance or consultation like Rod is. We're going to do a little bonus session here. So if you want the most of these live calls, join them live, not just the replay, and give us a shout if you have specific topics that you want to learn about. But let's end that for today. And we'll keep going. Bonus live session.